Been a little while since my last update, so I thought I'd just do a quick stream here to show where I'm at and what I'm running into right now. So, since the last stream, I have added a couple of things. I've added, if you look over here, I added a particle effect to the bomb explosion. Was I really not in the last one? I added a whole bunch of these, redid the whole bomb detection code. I'm just going to go put that up on screen quick because I'm pretty happy with it, except it's being torn apart right now through networking. So if we go here, so when the bomb comes into existence, I basically have a timeline, that runs after I get the initial scale of the bomb, which I use to animate it. So basically this timeline just takes a float on a curve over time, and I apply that float to my bomb animation. So what comes out of here, I call it glow. Here I call it scale. It works for both glow and scale. So what I do is I take that scale value and I set it to a scalar parameter, which is for the bomb. Oh, not that one. That's the mesh. For the bomb material. So what I've got here is I've got just a regular black base material, but then over time, well, right here I call it the pulse color. Basically, this color is multiplied by the glow, and as it gets multiplied by the glow, and as the glow gets bigger, it will add an emissive color on top of this base color to make it blow up. So I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit, because it kind of everything's going to be sort of seen at once. So it says bombs do radial damage, but what's actually going on here is now, after I set the material color and I scale the bomb to make it get bigger, I do that, and then once my animation is ending, which is right now for 2 seconds, I explode. Now right now this isn't fully working because some of this needs to play in networking mode. So I probably need to change this play sound 2D to something that plays over the network. Set up bomb might need to be network called, but I'll just go through what it's doing without referencing the network for now, because it is working single player. So setup bomb basically just sets up like this bomb, like how big is the damage radius going to be is the most important thing. And so I set the damage radius and I subtract a bomb from the current player who dropped the bomb. Although that, I don't know why I don't have this on the player. Oh, I don't have this on the player because I have to I decrement and increment the player's current bombs here on the bomb. Because when he drops the bomb, I decrement their bombs, but when this bomb explodes, I have to increment their bomb again so that he gets a bomb back. So, plays a sound, does a camera shake. This also needs to get sent out. I'm going to have to move these into a server call. Now, get explosion path is the big one here. Explosion path. So here we go. So for the center explosion path, I just basically, that's always going to occur. If a bomb is there, it blows up, it's going to apply damage, and it's going to spawn particles, always. But then what we need to do, we need to take each one of the 4 paths down in each of the vectors, forward, backward, left, and right. In a traditional game, you can just apply radius damage and do everything at the same time, but Bomberman doesn't work that way, so we have to have these explosion paths. And there's other ways to do this, like by creating a grid, but I wanted to not create a grid just to see if I could, more or less. And grid's a little bit extra work to get started. So then in here, what we have to do is we have to step along each block in the path, and that's dependent on the damage radius, which we set when we first created this bomb. And so basically we step down each path and we say, did this hit a non-destructible, a solid block? And if it did, it just breaks the loop. If it didn't hit a non-destructible, that means it could have hit a destructible block. And if it did hit a destructible block, it blows that block up by sending a call to the server. And then it breaks the loop because it shouldn't go past this. If it didn't hit either of those blocks, it basically just goes down the rest of its way down the path, applying damage and particles. And we know where the end of the path location is because we can figure out the here we're calculating the block size of the blocks we're using, and the with the index of the radius we're on. So 1, 2, 3 times the block size. It gives us, and we multiply that by our path vector, which is up, down, left, right. In order to get the distance we want to add to our actor location, and this gives us a vector through which we can follow and apply damage to. Actually, let's go back into. So detect non-destructible is pretty simple. It literally just looks, it doesn't line trace from the bomb's position to whatever position we're searching in our path check, and it only looks for world static objects, which are considered non-destructible. And if it hits one, it says it hit one. That loop ends. Detect destructible is a little more complicated because it starts out the same, but if it hits something, if it doesn't hit anything, it just returns. If it hits something, we have to do a server call to apply point damage to the bricks. Because what happens is in single player, when you apply damage to a point, it applies it appropriately to both the actor and the destructible mesh. But in multiplayer, it only applies that damage to the actor, which means we have to set up a custom call here. So this, so as you can see here, we're taking the damaged actor, which is the wall that got hit, casting it to this bricks actor. And then because we've done that, we can now call its server call for applying damage, which if it only runs on the server, Switch has authority, and then it applies just a radius damage, which works pretty well.